Hey guys, my name is Catherine Tobin, and this is my submission for the first video assignment for Introduction to Physical Anthropology. I plan to read the question first and then follow up with my answer. The first part of question number 1 is, what does fitness mean in evolutionary terms? In terms of evolution and natural selection, fitness is essentially the reproductive success of a particular genotype in an individual being passed on to not only its offspring, but also future generations. Some genotypes have more or less fitness than others, and these differences in fitness can potentially contribute to a change in allele frequencies. The second half of the question is, when it comes to cricket fitness, what features do they benefit from having to promote reproduction? The main feature is the calling that the male crickets do in order to attract females. Although we usually consider the calling to be chirping, the cricket is actually rubbing his wings together in order to create the sound as is seen in this video. In the comic strip, what is considered to be the sneaker cricket benefits from the calling cricket, in that he is able to effectively detract the female, making her believe that it was he himself who was doing the calling. By doing this, he is able to mate and pass on what the comic is calling the sneaky gene. The second question is, although calling is the dominant trait in the cricket population in the cartoon, explain reasons why sometimes it is good versus the reasons why calling can be bad or risky. The main reason that the calling is good is that it attracts females and stimulates reproduction. The calling indicates that the male is stronger and acts as a signal for the female to know which direction to go to find the male. The main reason in which the calling is bad is that the male with this dominant trait of calling was unable to pass on his genes, as the calling awoke the sneaker male who was able to intercept the female. The calling is risky in the sense that it alerted a predator, in this case a bat, to the location of the calling male. The third question asks to describe 3 different situations in the story in which a cricket is accidentally eliminated from mating and thus unable to pass on his cricket genes. The first situation in which the cricket was eliminated from mating was where the sneaker cricket intercepted the female. The second situation occurred when a bat heard the calling and swooped down to eat the calling male. Finally, the third circumstance of the calling male being unable to mate was where the guy who was on the date and describing this full process accidentally stepped on the calling cricket. The fourth question asks, ultimately, would you say that the pattern of natural selection that is currently at work in the population of crickets in this story is stabilizing, directional, or disruptive? Keep in mind that natural selection favors population traits that have the greatest probability to increase growth in a population in a specific environment. Although I can see an argument for all 3 types of patterns, I believe that it is a stabilizing selection currently at work. The book defines this as selection against the extremes of the phenotypic distribution, decreasing the genetic diversity for this trait in the population. The genetic diversity for the trait of calling is decreased by the sneaker crickets intercepting the females and by the calling males being hunted by predators. It is important to note that the sneaker crickets are also not able to dominate over time, as the comic points out that if this were to occur, then there would not be the original feature of calling to attract the females their way. Thus, the sneakers would not be able to reproduce. The comparison in the textbook was the weight of humans in the middle range being more fit than that of those on the extreme ends of low and high weight. Eventually, the genetic diversity of the crickets will decrease, with some calling and some not, similar to the medium range of weight in humans. The final question for the assignment is, in what specific ways does the environment influence the practice of cricket calling? The 2 main ways the environment affects the practice of cricket calling is the temperature, as is proven that crickets call more in warmer weather, and the other environmental factor is the standard predator versus prey conflict. That is all of the questions. Thank you for watching, and I hope everyone has a great weekend.